Hi boys and girls, this is Mr. Wedge. Well, this is a bass, but I'm Mr. Wedge, and I'm making this video because I'm not here and Mr. Doremus isn't here. So I'm actually going to demo Gyotaku for you today, and I'm going to show you it in two parts because we're going to do it a little bit different than we did last time. And before we start, I just want to say thank you for being really nice to these fish. They are rubber fish, but they are made from real fish, from molds of real fish. They pour the rubber into a mold that was taken from a real fish, and that's why they look so realistic. But the fins, they break off very easily, so especially if you're swinging it by the tail and goofing around. So thanks for being really good to these. Keep it up, because we want to save these. They're expensive too. But today you're going to need a rubber fish, a piece of project paper, a pencil, 2 pieces of free draw paper. You're going to need a paper plate. You're going to need a paper towel. You're going to need a bucket of water. You're going to need a big brush, and you're going to need at least 2 bottles of paint. That's a lot of stuff. Everybody's going to need all that stuff for today, but you can do it, and you know where most of the stuff is already. Okay? So let me walk you through what we're actually going to do with all of this. We're going to paint the fish again, just like you did when you did it in black, but we're going to use a lot of color today and jazz it up. You can do it however you want, but pick at least 2 different colors. And I like to paint the fish dark on top and light on the bottom because that's how fish actually are. But you could totally do it however you want. If you want to do light on top, dark on the bottom, that's fine too. If you want to do like crazy designs and stuff, you can do it that way too. But pick 2 colors, okay? And when you start painting the fish, you got to work quick because the paint dries out. And remember, just a little bit. You don't need a ton of paint. I'm not going to dump the whole bottle on the plate, okay? So I've got my bucket of water here. I've got my paper towel here. But before I actually start, I'm going to put my name on the back of my artwork. Alright? So, Mr. Wedge. And our class code is 3M. So don't forget that. This isn't rice paper, this is just heavy drawing paper. And we're calling it project paper. So there's project paper and free draw paper. Okay. So I've got my 2 colors, I've got everything I need, I'm ready to go. Okay, I don't need the pencil for anything else, but the name's really important. And then we begin painting. I'm going to start with the blue. I'm going to put it on pretty thick, but then I'm going to spread it out nice and even, and that's what's going to allow me to get all the details. And the way I want my design, I'm only going to do the top half of the fish, and then I'm going to switch to a different color, and then I'm going to blend those colors together. So really quick, while the paint is still wet, I'm going to wash my brush, dry it off on my paper towel, switch to my other color, start on the bottom and work my way up. Totally up to you how you do it. I mean, you could go from left to right or right to left, or you could go diagonally if you want, but then make sure those colors blend together. Since I picked yellow and blue, they made green in between when they mixed, which is kind of cool. I like the way that looks. Real quick, what I have to do, get everything out of the way. Remember those 2 pieces of free draw paper? Okay. Carefully lift up your fish. Carefully put your free draw paper down so this ink doesn't get on your print. Okay, now we have a nice clean surface to work on. Carefully lay your fish back down, and then put your paper on top of your fish and print it. And the reason that we have to do all that really quick is because the paint is going to dry on the fish. Okay, so we got to make sure we get all the scales and fins and everything before the paint actually dries. And if you're rubbing the side with your name on it, you're doing it right. Okay? And that part goes quick. And then we peel it off and take a look at that. That's a good print. That's a Gyotaku print right there. Alright? So that's part 1. Don't put it on the drying rack yet. Just leave it out for a second, because when everybody's done with this, I'm going to show you part 2. Okay? Just make one today, because we're going to do something else after this. But work hard, have fun. And when you're done, you can wash this off in the sink.